Economist Peter Morici joins us this morning. Peter, I have a question. We're being forced into EVs. Why can't we let the market decide?
Well, because the president is being advised by ideologues and zealots. New technologies tend to coexist with old technologies for as long as a generation. When I was a boy in New York in the 1950s, we still had a few horses around. My feeling is that we will be in EVs, and if the market is left to do it, we won't have situations where people can't find charges. It'll all happen in an orderly fashion. But think about this, what Thanksgiving weekend is going to be like in the fourth year of a second term of Joe Biden on I-95. As people go from Washington and Philadelphia to New York City and all pull into those New Jersey Turnpike stations to try to recharge their batteries at the same time. It's going to be an absurd situation. Or think about this. A snowstorm where people get bottled up and they basically are stuck for 2 or 3 hours and the charge is running out. How do you recharge all those batteries? You can't bring them little gallons of electricity.
Yeah, you make a very good point there. I just don't like being forced into something. Let the market decide. Free choice. Come on, give me a choice here. Good Lord. Next one for you, Peter. Prices on the rise. The CPI, Consumer Price Index, up 3.7% in the past year. Meanwhile, household income actually came down between 2021 and 2022, the third year in a row that income has fallen. So my question, Peter, are we getting poorer?
Oh, yes, we are. What's happening here is the administration is financing all this industrial policy, semiconductor factories that are too expensive, electric vehicle factories that can't earn a profit and so forth, by printing money. That's where they're getting money to fund the Inflation Reduction Act. Basically through deficit spending, they finance that by selling bonds and so on and so forth. Well, if they don't raise taxes to pay for all that and make us poorer, what that does is make us poorer through inflation. And that's what you see outside. We're reliving history. When Paul Volcker had to bring inflation down, it was after it peaked 3 prior times. Basically, it rose a bit, and then the Fed, tightened, and it got hesitated. And then it rose a bit, and so it went down, but not enough. Then it rose to another peak and another peak. What you've got is a situation where the Fed is weak-kneed, is unwilling to take the medicine, and as a consequence, inflation expectations are baking in. If you look at the Conference Board surveys of consumers, it's been stuck. Inflation expectations for a year from now at about 5.8% for the last 4 or 5 months. You want to know why people will pay 7% interest on a mortgage? It's because they expect inflation to remain high, and the Fed's credibility, the president's credibility is not there. They don't know why they're being taxed this way, but they know that they are. Yeah,
we've got a columnist in the Democrat-friendly Washington Post hitting Biden's strategy on the economy. He says, look, don't say the economy is better than it is. He's got a point, Peter.
Well, absolutely. The thing is that people go into grocery stores. Apparently, Joe Biden doesn't do that anymore. We wouldn't expect him to. But you drive to work this week, and the price of gasoline is up. You go into the grocery store. My wife told me the steak went up $2 a pound at Whole Foods last week, and hamburgers went up $2 a pound and so forth. My feeling is that you have to be in tune with what people actually see. Voters are like armies. They march on their stomach, and I'm afraid they're not going to turn out for Joe Biden if things don't get better.
Yeah, when you go to the grocery store or the gas station, that's inflation that you can actually see. Now, they take in food and energy prices out of this core inflation, but that detracts from the way we feel about inflation. Last word to you.
Well, the thing is that core inflation isn't going down. It's been stuck in the 4s for a long time now. We've been hearing from Mr. Powell, again, remember Mr. Transitory, how falling rents were going to pull down the core inflation. Well, falling rents was 6 and 7 months ago. They've gone back up. And the shelter figure has slowed its growth, reflecting that, but it hasn't gone down. And now it's going to go back up again. They're not done with this thing. And basically, they're lying to themselves at the Fed. They're cooking up indexes and numbers that give them the narrative they want. And unfortunately, the country's going to suffer another bout of inflation before we're done.
All right, Peter, we have to leave it there, but we appreciate you being here. Thanks very much. Peter Morici.